Hey everybody, it's Mark Schultz here, and I'm here with another edition of Blockchain Aviation. It's going to be a really great week. It's really exciting. You are not going to want to miss this. I have a week just packed with great guests and great information. Hey, on Monday today, we're taking a look at innovation in blockchain. And I told you that Mondays are going to be Ideation Mondays, or when we're going to be looking at innovation. We're going to be looking at adjacent industries and what's happening and how that's coming into aviation. On Wednesday coming up, we have our next guest, which is Juan Pablo Laface. He's with the company TravelX. And what's exciting about that on Wednesday is that they recently published, or they helped publish, the Air Europa NFT, which brought in $1 million for a commemorative NFT. I think you're going to want to listen to that one. That's going to be a great conversation. And then on Friday, we have air traffic management coming up, where I have Simon Brown, who's currently working at EasyJet, but prior to that, he worked at Heathrow and Nets, and it's an air traffic management company. And he has a tremendous amount of experience being engaged in some of the industry initiatives on the future of air data for traffic management. And basically, we're going to be having a conversation about blockchain in traffic management. It's really going to be a great week, and I think you're going to not want to miss a single one of them. Hey, over the course of this week, you're going to be able to join me on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern and 1600 GMT, where we're going to be having these conversations about blockchain and aviation. Hey, before I get started, I wanted to remind you that we're trying to get so many people involved in this broadcast. And it's just been amazing. I think we've had 20,000 people that have watched it so far in the last couple of weeks. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12 Eastern, 1600 GMT. But what I wanted to ask you to do, if you could just help me out and share this broadcast. We want more people to know about blockchain and aviation and all the things that are happening. And I want them to meet our guests. And so I just want to ask you if you could help me out and just share this live stream. That would really be great. And coming up here just in a moment, I have our very first guest, where we're going to be talking about innovation and ideation. And my idea behind those things is that basically we are focusing on blockchain and aviation, and we want to bring new ideas and we want to bring innovation into the forefront, so that we can have a conversation about ideas and bring them into the industry and really leverage things that are happening all around the world in blockchain and create better efficiency within aviation. So without further discussion, I'm going to go ahead and just bring in my first guest, and that is Vivek. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Hello, Vivek.
Hey, Mark. Hi. Thanks.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
That's really fantastic. Hey, listen, I'm doing really good. And hey, the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like for people that are watching to really know who it is that we have on the program here with us today. And could you just quickly tell people who you are and what do you do in the industry today?
Sure. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you're joining. I hope you're doing good. This is Vivek Khandelwal. I work for Tech Mahindra, based out of Dubai, UAE, and I handle travel, transportation, logistics, and hospitality business for them.
Yeah, and so the company Tech Mahindra, I don't know if people, unless you're involved directly with Tech Mahindra, people may not know who they are or what they do as a company. So maybe you could just give us a little bit more information about the company that you work for called Tech Mahindra, and what's the scope of things that they're involved in the industry.
Sure. So at Tech Mahindra, we are headquartered out of India, but operating in 90 countries today, with a turnover of around $6 billion. And 158,000 plus employees, serving more than 1,200 customers today. Travel transportation is one of our focus verticals where we operate, and we offer solutions with new age technologies like 5G, blockchain, quantum computing, AI, alongside the traditional IT and BPO offerings, helping our customer with digital transformation.
Okay, and so you said that you're based in Dubai.
That's right.
And is that because that's your region, or why are you in Dubai compared to somewhere else?
That's my region. I've been based out of Dubai for last 11 plus years. I've worked across Middle East, Africa with various airlines in the region.
Yeah, good. So can you give the viewers a little idea of who you're working with, just who some of your customers are today?
Sure. So at Tech Mahindra, we work with a lot of Fortune 500 customers, specifically when it comes to airlines in Middle East. Today, if I talk about, so we work with Emirates, Etihad, Qatar Airways, Fly Dubai, Air Arabia, the leading airports like Dubai airports, Abu Dhabi airports, and others.
That's
So
great. And you said it's a $6 billion company?
that's right.
Yeah, so you have a lot of activity going on. That's really fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good. Hey, listen, everybody watching out there, I know Vivek brings a lot of experience, and he's going to tell us in just a moment about his background and aviation and his technical background. We're going to get into blockchain discussions. But before we do that, I just wanted to ask you if you could help me out. You guys all watching know that I like to know where people are watching from. And if you could, down in the comment box, if you could just put in there, where you're watching from, and we'll give you a little bit of a shout out and let you know that we saw you. And we also like to get questions. And so we're hoping that later on in the broadcast that you can give us some hard questions. Man, we had about 150 questions, I think, on Friday at that broadcast. And it was just people were really, really engaged. And it makes a really big difference when you guys, engage and are part of the conversation with us. So please do that. But first of all, just, give a shout out and let me know where you're watching from. All right. And as people are getting ready to do that, Vivek, I wanted to know if you could maybe just tell us a little bit about what is your current role? What are you currently doing exactly right now, in the company right now? And then we'll get into a little bit more detail later.
Sure. So, Mark, I joined Tech Mahindra around 6 years back. I have a total experience of around 19 years now, and out of which 15 years has been working with various airlines, in India as well as Middle East Africa. So at Tech Mahindra, the mandate was to grow this vertical. And today, as I said, literally we have all these logos with us. So whether it's any of the leaders in airlines, in ports, so in the country, we are working with them. So primarily, I do customer facing relationship management. I'm the sales director. Here.
Good. So have a technical and an aviation background, and then working with customers from a customer standpoint and a project standpoint. Yeah, good. All right.
Absolutely.
And so let's dig into that a little bit deeper in a second here. I just want to recognize a few people that are watching here. We have Rena, who's joined us from Toronto. She's faithfully joined. Rena, I think you've joined probably all the last 6 broadcasts. This would make number 7. I think we'll have to send you a prize for that. All right. And then next we have Luis Santos, and he was actually my guest on the very first broadcast. He's actually going to be on a later broadcast in a couple of weeks where we're going to be talking about the solution. But he's a PhD professor at a university and also the founder of a company, a blockchain platform company. And we're going to hear some good information coming from Luis. Luis, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you being there today. Hey, Vivek, let's jump into a little bit about yourself. People always want to know, a background and kind of the journey, how someone got where they got. So could you just tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up being involved in blockchain?
Sure. So as I said, I have overall 19 years of experience, always selling, right? Technically, I have done some courses. I'm qualified technically, as a programmer, as SAP consultant, but continued into sales. Always had an ag of serving my customers. So being into IT sales or technology sales, I need to keep on updating myself, keep updated with the new technologies which keep coming, and so that I can provide those solutions to my customers. At Tech Mahindra, as I said, we do work on various digital technologies, and blockchain is one of them. So we are one of the early adopters of blockchain, and probably one of the largest public sector use cases on blockchain, right? That's in the telecom industry in India. That was initially done by Tech Mahindra, where we are connecting the entire population of India, or rather I would say close to 1 billion people, all the telecom operators and marketing agencies there.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting, because I think one of the things that we need to do as we're entering into different industries, as we're entering into different technologies in aviation, okay, is just a few years ago, 3 years ago or so, I didn't know anything about blockchain. As a matter of fact, I went to a conference and somebody used the word digital twin, and I said, I don't even know what that is, and I don't know what blockchain is, and this is about 3 years ago. And so I've been on a journey the last 3 years or so to try to better understand blockchain, because I'm like you. I want to understand technology, and I want to consider appropriate technology for the business challenges that I have. Okay, not just to implement technology because we're going to implement technology. I want to understand the technology, look at business challenges, and then use it. All right. Now, you just mentioned something about a company in India which has the largest public blockchain. Can you tell me what that is? What's happening there?
So what we did was, so in every country, and particularly with countries with large populations like India, right? What happens is you keep on getting various spam calls or marketing messages, marketing calls from different telemarketing companies,
Did you say
right?
spam calls? Is that what you said?
I did say spam as well
Well,
because
yeah, but I mean that's all of us realize how much that hurts us. We all get spam calls and scammers and things, and so yeah, it happens a lot. And so, is this something that's going to help that? What happened?
absolutely. Also, just imagine, you're sitting in a meeting and they keep pestering you, right? So banks will keep calling you, or telecom companies will keep calling you. So the government was looking at a solution, right? How do you stop this? So initially, the telecom operator or authority, they came up with a solution of do not disturb, DND service, where as a subscriber, I would tell my telecom operator that I don't wish to receive these calls, and they would individually try to stop these calls. But uh, in turn, they also have to inform other operators as well as the authority about my choice of unsubscribing from these calls. Now this entire process used to take around 21, 22 days and was not very effective. Still people were getting calls, right? So we came up with a blockchain solution there, where we onboarded the telecom authority, all the marketing agencies registered, plus
Okay. Well,
telcos.
Vivek, in the U.S., you said you called it "Do Not Disturb." In the U.S., I think we call it the National Do Not Call Registry. Okay, but it's the
It's
same
the same
thing.
thing. It's
There's
the same thing.
a database that's kept that if you don't want to be contacted by somebody, you have to put your contact information in there. And I don't know, it doesn't seem to work very good because I get all kinds of calls, no matter what. Now, what was the end result from that? What happened after they implemented that?
So after all the stakeholders were onboarded on this platform, instead of 21, 22 days, this came down to minutes within which this information goes to everyone. There's a consensus because the blockchain, right? You have the marketing agencies accepting it, telecom companies accepting it, regulator authorizing it or accepting it. There's a consensus which comes in, and it was much more effective than how it was earlier.
Okay, so what were the attributes or the technical reasons why you would use a blockchain solution, for that problem, instead of something else? What were the things? I mean, like smart contracts, or like what is it that made that the solution for the problem?
See, the first reason was there were multiple stakeholders involved here, right? And that's at a large number.
A lot of companies.
So a lot of companies involved, and multiple parties, and you needed a consensus so that this information goes to everyone quickly, right? How do you connect everyone on a single platform, because they will not share their systems with each other? You cannot integrate them. So
Yeah.
you need to have a middle system where all of them, they subscribe to it. Still, their proprietary systems are isolated. So you don't get into the systems of those telecom companies, but they all subscribe to this and they all accept it. So it's a
Okay.
consensus what they come to.
Okay, I'm getting it now. So you have a large amount of data that needs to be widely available to a lot of people, and they have a lot of companies involved, and so they said, hey, let's publish it to a place where it's easy to put it to, and it can be secure, and everybody can get to it. And you said, oh, blockchain. Did I capture that correctly?
That's right.
Okay, all right. Now let's switch gears here a minute, okay? So everybody watching today, the reason that I do this is that what can we learn from other industries in order to be able to learn how we can better and be more efficient in aviation? How do we do things like that? All right, now, so let's switch gears for a minute, Vivek.
Sure.
How can we take the knowledge from something like that and say, what are the innovative ideas and solutions that we have that we can implement in aviation? So let's just hit on a few of them. What are some of them? What's the first one you can think of that is an innovative idea that can leverage that kind of process?
Something similar can be done on the loyalty side, right? So today, what is happening is, traditionally airlines, they were trying to have their own customers, use their data just to provide better service. Now the time has come when airlines are looking forward to monetizing this data. For monetizing the data of the loyalty, what we're talking about is how do you onboard more merchants who can subscribe to your data, how my customers as an airline can earn more loyalty points in the ecosystem. So not only, say for example, if I'm flying on an airline, and today I don't want to only earn rewards while flying, which I might do. If I'm a business flyer, I'll fly often. If I'm just a leisure traveler, it might be a couple of times in a year. So I don't want to restrict only there, because I want to do more touch points with the airline. And so every activity, whether I go for a grocery shopping or I go for department stores, I can earn points there. I can also go and redeem these loyalty points there. Now,
okay, well, let me ask you a question. Is that how is it that having blockchain data published on a blockchain can extend their reach and create more loyalty? Help me understand that a little bit better. Because if I'm sitting in the audience listening to this right now, I'm saying, how does publishing data to the blockchain cause more loyalty? Help me with that.
Right. So one, what we need to understand is all these loyalty points mean money, right? They are equivalent to money for the consumer, for the airline, for the other merchants, right? So there are transactions which are happening. Two, there are settlements to be done. So any transaction where you have points earned or points redeemed between the merchants and the airlines and the consumer, there are transactions which are happening, right? So which are more and where you can implement your smart contracts, you can have a consensus. It's a secured database basically, because at a blockchain, for every transaction, it comes and sits at the end of the chain, right? So no one can temper it, no one can challenge it. And because we're talking about an ecosystem here, just imagine when a large airline with millions of customers they open their database to worldwide vendors, merchants. There are so many parties who are getting involved. It is literally not possible to do it on a traditional system. So here what will happen is it will be immediate settlements through the smart contracts, right? A consensus based approach is there. Everyone knows the data is perfect and it's secured.
Okay, well, that's really very interesting. So if we take that case, a couple times in the last 2 weeks, my guests have talked about loyalty programs and how airlines are continuing to try to grow their loyalty programs. And so what you're saying is an innovative idea here is that we should continue to look at the blockchain. And I think we'll jump into the next topic here, because closely related to that is NFTs. And I know that our guests have been talking about creating loyalty using the blockchain, and that's a new way. I don't think anybody's talked about leveraging vendors to buy and sell points, off of the blockchain and the customer data in order to be able to leverage that. That's an interesting idea. What about NFTs? How do NFTs fit into the whole blockchain idea right now?
Absolutely. So NFT as well as metaverse, both are actually now the talk of the town, right? Every company, every customer I meet, everyone is asking about the same, right? They all want to be there. No one wants to miss the bus. So what we're saying is, how do I, if you see, traditionally how we've been, I think all the audience out here, they're all obsessed with aviation, right? And all of us, whenever we fly, we might buy some merchandises, we will have some T-shirts, we will have keychains and other things as our remembrance of our favorite airline. We always collect those. So now what we're doing is digitally, you have your unique pieces, and those are non-fungible tokens, what you're collecting, right? So tomorrow, that's one unique piece which you will have always. All the merchandises, including the photographs of planes, which are widely popular today on Instagram, so many handles are there. So your original artwork, it can be there.
Yeah.
Airlines are selling. Just imagine your the older aircrafts. To now they are
Oh
not
yeah,
available.
that's a good
Your
one. Is
photographs.
yeah, we like to be nostalgic and think about the old aircraft. Like I used to work at Northwest Airlines, and if there was an NFT of a Northwest airplane, maybe one of them that I worked on, and I probably would get one. I worked on the very first 747-400, and it was
Wow,
delivered
okay.
to Northwest Airlines. And so that'd be interesting. Yeah. Hey,
That's a
Vivek,
lovely bird.
let me recognize a few more people that have jumped on.
Yeah.
I like to do that just to keep people engaged here. But Larry Little is joined from Washington. Larry's actually my business partner. And Larry, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. And then we also have Simon Barker, and he's faithful. He keeps joining from Aerospace Tech Review. And you guys ought to check them out. They have a lot of really, they have conferences, and they have a magazine, and a lot of really interesting things going on. Simon, why don't you post the link to your website there, and we can let people see that on the comments. So, hey, listen, let's keep going. I want to go to the next thing. You brought up the word metaverse in the last comment you had. And, when we think of the word metaverse, a lot of times we think of gaming, all right? So how is the metaverse different, in your view in aviation than just someone's video game?
All right. So, of course, gaming is one of the largest use cases, right? But there are multiple other use cases when it comes to business. And if you see to it, so today what is happening is with digital, with other aspects, we are losing the human touch. And metaverse, what it is doing is it's in turn it is allowing us to again give that touch, not exactly as a physical human touch, but still at least you'll interact with someone. You can have people can walk in into your area. So for example, often I miss the charm of visiting an airline store and buying my ticket out there, right? Now we only do it online. We'll check 10 websites and do it. So one of the example is, say you set up a metaverse store, and you have your airline stores out there. There are agents who are actually sitting and talking to the people who are coming. So Mark's avatar will talk to Vivek's avatar, and Mark will buy a ticket from Vivek, sort out everything, and yes, we can have a little gossip as well.
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting because people have different personalities, and we need to cater to those. Okay. A lot of times I want to go online and I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to buy something and be done and get out of there. But there's other people that want to have a conversation about it. Like, my wife, she wants to ask some questions, and she wants to know, well, what kind of, things can I do when I get to this travel destination, or, what's the transportation? And, I don't even think about those things. And so you're right. If we put that into a metaverse and created an interactive experience, I'll bet you that would be better for that kind of personality.
Yeah, and Mark, not only that, so for example, as you said, there are different people who like different things. Someone like who is an aviation geek, for him, I can create an experience of a A380 or other aircraft. You can go and experience the cabin out there in the metaverse, right? You can walk through, sit, experience the entire service out there. What the product would look like. Someone else might want to say watch a video of the destination they're flying to. They want to experience that.
Hey, have you seen? I like that one exactly, because a lot of times people want to see where they're going, what the destination is.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a good one. Here is it. How many times have people been uncomfortable because they're going to a new international airport and they don't know what the arrival looks like? Okay. Well, what if we actually could go to the, click on the destination? And I know today I can go into my app and I can get a map, and it shows me to go 2 gates down to the left, and I can get to my next flight. But what if you had a virtual world where you could look at it and you could see where you're going, and then you go, okay, by the way, there's a Starbucks right there, and I can go by and stop and get a coffee as I go by. And so, I like that idea of using utility in that metaverse, not just like a gaming. No, I know what you're saying. There's so many people that want this for gaming, and I understand that. I don't happen to be a gamer, but business utility exists, in this as well. There's no question about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an infinite use cases, right? You think it's your creativity. You keep on adding more use cases there.
Yeah. Hey, I want to shout out to a couple more people here. Kieran Prakash. Kieran is with a company called Real Variable. They have an ERP. Well, actually, they have a blockchain application which does they do warranty, and they do supply and logistics, and they have digital twins and different things like that. So anyway, that's a very interesting use case. And then it doesn't say who's here from Berlin. Sometimes the names don't come through, but I know a couple of people in Berlin. Welcome, glad to have you at Berlin, and thanks for joining. Everybody. And hey, just a quick shout out to Simon. He's a very faithful follower, so I want to help him out. Here's their website, and they got a great magazine. They have a lot of technical information. So if you want to learn more about technical things in aviation, you can go to that website and take a look at their magazine, and maybe go to one of their future conferences if you can as well. Hey, let's go to the next thought. I've had some people asking me lately about security in the blockchain. Can we have a quick conversation about security in the blockchain? Is it better, worse? Do we have different concerns? Help me understand that if data is public on the blockchain, how do we maintain security? People ask me that.
Right. So let's look at it from a two angle, right? So again, you have got different types of blockchain: public, private, and hybrid, right? And we can discuss on the use cases or what's the difference between those. But essentially, public means it's open to everyone; anyone can subscribe. Something like Bitcoin, right? That's based on a public blockchain. Now, if you look at a public blockchain also, which is considered to be the most insecure one, as I was saying earlier, every transaction in a blockchain gets amended to the last, right? And these are all hash, which is difficult to break. Now, you cannot go back and change any of the earlier transactions which are already appended there. Because there was a consensus, if you want to change something, you have to write a new, you have to add further to the chain. You cannot go back and change something, right? And even if you want to add records, you need to have consensus. That means you have to have majority, 51% plus.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about in the past about some of the things which make it secure, and we have secure contracts, smart contracts that are there. We have consensus mechanisms. We have secure blockchains that are being used. Let me ask you this: is that in the previous discussion we had about the telecom company, what blockchain did they build that solution on?
That was on Hyperledger.
On Hyperledger, and that's IBM, right?
Yeah, the technology comes from them.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right. Yeah. It's the Hyperledger fabric. Anyone can use it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Of course. Yeah. Well, anyway, there's a lot of different considerations when you're looking at, layer ones, they're called. So blockchains, when you're looking at the base layer called layer one, you look at what blockchain, should we be using? And then they build on top of that some layer twos, which also represent some platforms to build on top of. And one of the things that we're going to be doing as we go forward, this is only our second week of actually 8 weeks of conversations. We're going to continue to dig in deeper and deeper about things like which blockchain to use and why, and which advantages do they have, and things like that.
Sure. So Maxi, at Tech Mahindra, we are a system integrator. We are a services company. We are not a product technology company. So we are agnostic to any of these fabrics. So whether you go for Hyperledger, Ethereum, or Polygon, it doesn't matter. What we do is, as independent consultants, right? Our team, they look at the use case, what we are trying to do, and which technology will be suitable for it. Whether you should be hosting your own node or you should go for a hyperscaler like AWS or Azure. So we'll help you with those decisions.
That's really a good point. I want to say something about that is that, as I learn more and more about technology, right? I can't be an expert on technology everywhere. I don't try to be. What I do is I go to the people who know this stuff the most, and I ask them, I say, okay, I know what a blockchain is. I know what it does. I know the advantages of it, but I don't necessarily know the details of every type of blockchain and which one would be the best one to use for my particular business application. Or is there a pre-built product that exists so that I just need to work with a vendor to implement it? And so I go to consultants many times, and a lot of times I go to consultants and ask them, for their experience and what have you implemented and why, in order to be able to look at my use case and say, what should I do? So that's really a very good point. I really appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah.
Mark, just to make one more point out here. So the telecom one was one of the earlier early use cases which we deliver, and that's the largest public sector use case, I would say. But at the same time, of course, we have delivered use cases across industries. So whether it's supply chain, reverse logistics, records
Wow.
management, we've done all those.
Yeah. No, I just thought that was interesting. And so you've done a lot of other things since then, right? You had to have started working on that 5 years ago if it was implemented 3 years ago, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So that isn't necessarily representative of the current things you're doing today, but I thought that was just interesting. There was 1 billion users on this blockchain, and what that really
Absolutely.
does, that shows there can be scale, is what
That's right.
it's showing. Yeah. Hey, just a quick shout out to one more follower out there. She's here a lot, Rosemary Brewster. Thanks for joining. She's with Hobart Machine Products. Glad to have you here from Hobart, Washington. I hope it's not too hot there for you today. I hear it's pretty hot out there. That's what Larry told us, and I've heard that from some family members. So, hey, listen, we're going to go to one more point here. I want to ask you this. Where do you really see the future of blockchain going in aviation? So considering the things that we've done and the things that we've been talking about over the last few weeks, is that where is it really going? Is this really a viable technology to implement now, or is it 5 years from now?
It's very much there now. I would say, 5 years back, if you would have asked me, I would have said yes. It'll take some time to scale up, but now with Web3 already out there, metaverse, NFT, so many of coins out there in the market, right? The technology is already tried and tested. It's scaling up, it's evolving, but it is there to stay. I would say NFT, metaverse, we've just started seeing the benefits and the use cases coming in. So it will further develop only.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that as well. Hey, listen, I'm glad you brought up the fact that was a while ago and you used that blockchain, because I think it's important that we maybe clear up something here. Rena asks good questions, and she just asked a good question. She said, why was Hyperledger used over Ethereum, in the case you mentioned? And then she said here, is it more advanced? Now, I think you need to address that, because I know why you used it, but would you please address why you used it? And would you do the same thing today? So just address that for her real quick.
Right, Rina. So at that point of time, in fact, maybe technically I'm not the best person to tell you on this, but yes, we did do a comparison between Hyperledger and Ethereum at that point of time, and found Hyperledger more suitable for that particular use case, especially when we're talking about a scale. Ethereum was just coming up at that point of time, and of course today we have more options available, right? So if I go back in history, yes, at that point Hyperledger was the best choice. Today, I'm not sure. Maybe we can again check, but Hyperledger is still there and doing well.
Yeah, I think that's why I wanted you to address that, because technology, 3 years in technology is a tremendous amount of time. It's like 70 years in a human life. Okay, a lot of things happen in 3 to 5 years, and so you would need to carefully evaluate the blockchain you need to carefully evaluate the use case that you have and what it is that you're trying to solve, and then look at the blockchains or the products that are out there today that could help you to solve that problem. And I think you should be very careful at jumping to the conclusion that because somebody used Hyperledger on that business case, 3 to 5 years ago, that it would be used again. I mean, it's just hard to say how technology has changed. So here's another good question. I really can't answer this, but Rena asked, is it easy to move from one blockchain to another if a newer one comes along?
Technically, I think it might be possible, but it's really difficult since there are so many transactions and so many parties involved. So usually, you commit to one, and it's better to stay there. Yes, today there are technologies possible which are there where you can integrate multiple blockchains. Different platforms can be integrated. So as Mark said, technology is evolving, and in technology,
Vivek, the other day we had a conversation, I think, on one of the broadcasts, and you guys got to remember, I'm not the expert on this. The people that were on the program were, but I know that, for example, Chainlink has the ability to move things across different blockchains. And so, if you have a solution which is on one, blockchain, and you need to merge it somewhere else, I suppose you potentially use a cross-chain, blockchain.
Yes, you can. And as I said, technology is evolving, and there are more and more solutions coming in. The only thing is, you also need to evaluate whether it is something which is viable for you or not. if you've already done millions of transactions on one platform, unless it's really bad, right? It's if it's not meeting your requirements, yes, you should move on.
Yeah, it's a little bit like when airlines implement MRO systems. For those of you watching out there, it takes a tremendous amount of effort to implement an MRO system, and they're very stable, and people keep them for many, many years. Between 10 and 50 years. Okay, and they build on, they change them, they grow, they make enhancements, but you need to do a very solid use case and analysis as part of your efforts to implement such decisions. But the other thing you need to consider is many times people go, oh, it's not stable, I don't know what to do, and then they delay it for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years. And by the time you've made a decision, there's better technology out there. So my recommendation is to evaluate things, start small and move fast. Okay, bite off small chunks. Don't try to do the whole thing all at one time, and do something. Move forward. We need to take a step forward and just do something. So don't be paralyzed, by the changes in the industry and not knowing what to do. Go to the experts, consult with them, like Tech Mahindra, for example, and understand what your use case is. Talk to people who know and who have done it before, and work with them to be able to find the right solution to move forward. I mean, that's really the right thing to do. Yeah. Okay, well, very good. Well, listen, we've had some good questions and some good conversation here today, and I really appreciate it. I want to ask you one final question. I always like to ask people this, is that what excites you the most about the aviation industry and the technology we have before us today? What's the most exciting part of that for you?
So I do work with airlines. The reason is because, yes, I get excited when it comes to airlines, aviation, right? Just seeing the bird flying itself is more than enough for anyone, right? With blockchain, personally with this technology, I've been personally, I would say, pretty excited with it. The amount of change it is bringing to the industry, and the future, what it holds, that is tremendous, right?
Yeah.
I would say we're just at the start of it right now, and Web3 is just coming up. We yet to move there completely. So
yeah, I
things
agree.
will change how we interact.
That's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing these broadcasts, to help you all understand it, better. So that's really good. I'm excited about technology and aviation, and I can see that you are as well. Hey, listen, I understand from your website that you have a marketplace, or an NFT marketplace. Can you tell us about that before we wrap things up?
Sure. So what we've done is, as I was saying, we do a lot of use cases for our customers, right? And so we help our customers create an NFT marketplace where people can go buy these artifacts, these tokens, right? And at TechM, we have also created our own marketplace where, say, if someone wants to just try it out first, right? So they can go start selling on our marketplace. People can buy from there, right? And then once they are ready to take a bigger dive, they can create their own marketplace.
Yeah.
So TechM has launched. Yeah.
Listen, I went to your website and I looked at your marketplace, and I want to know if this is appropriate. I grabbed this domain, and that's where your marketplace is, right?
Yes, I would invite you, Mark, to just go visit there, upload your photo, and create an NFT for yourself to try it out.
Okay, all right.
So that will be your token,
Yeah, very good. Okay, all right. Well, then I'll have my own NFT on your marketplace. Very good. That would be awesome. So if you guys want to check out what they're doing as far as NFTs and marketplaces and things like that, that's just one of the things that Tech Mahindra is doing. But, I think if you look at it, there's so many innovative ways that people are trying to implement blockchain technology right now. And listen, that's why I'm trying to help all of us in this community to better understand, blockchain and the options that we have. Hey, you know what? I have learned so much in the last couple of weeks. And let me tell you how I've learned. All right, I meet people like Vivek. I meet people that are my guests and are coming on board, and I talk about what they're doing and their ideas and their innovation. And I learned so much. And then I really want to share that with those of you that are watching. And so, number one, I really appreciate you following and you watching. And I hope that you're gaining value from being part of these broadcasts, because I am. I definitely am. I'm learning so much. And I hope that you will be able to do a better job of evaluating your use cases and your business problems that you have and implementing of them. And I hope that you'll be successful in implementing blockchain solutions. Vivek, I wish you the best in your company. And I miss traveling to the Middle East. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I've traveled all over the Middle East in the past, and so I miss that, and I look forward to going back there. I hope to be able to connect with you one day in Dubai directly.
Absolutely. Would love to meet you in person.
Yeah.
It was nice talking to you, Mark, and thanks for inviting me. And thanks to all your audience. I hope they gained something from it.
Thanks, everybody, for joining today. I really appreciate it. Fair winds and following seas. And I want to wish you to have a great day. And be sure to join us on Wednesday when we connect with TravelX and we talk about their NFTs that they're doing, or how they're helping companies to implement NFTs. And I think it's going to be a very exciting. Juan Pablo Lafasi, he is the founder of TravelX, and I think you'll find the conversation with him very interesting. So share that with your friends, and hope to see you on Wednesday. Bye for now.